This is chapter 1, Take Me to Your Leader. They had done a wonderful job creating the communication bubble. Its tensile strength was beyond anything ever created before, beyond anything ever required before. The council members gathered around the control bubble, a large half-abode-sized master bubble. "Do we have the route?" our leader asked. "Yes," I answered, "directly to Washington, D.C., Then we have plotted out a course that will take the communication bubble to a particular building wherein the waves indicate this president is most often found." "I assume he will not be the only person in this building," the very small and delicate woman said. "A comfortable assumption," I said. "Then how will we pick out this president from the rest of the other life present?" "We have heard him often enough on the waves and have coded into the navigation sheen of the bubble his voice pattern." "Excellent," the very small and delicate woman said. "Thank you." "Very elegant," said the large man. "Thank you." "Yes, fine," our leader broke in impatiently. "Excellent, elegant, impressive. I will draw up a proclamation to your brilliance later, but can we release the putrid communication bubble now?" It was released. The control bubble immediately took on the communication bubble's view of the steadily approaching planet, its blue, patches of brown, and wide whiffs of white combining to deeply set it apart from the black that surrounded it. "All planets have a beauty," the very ugly man stated. "But this planet, like our own, showing the effects of an atmosphere that can sustain life, has a beauty that reaches deeper, touches, and moves. That is my first impression." There was no argument. The bubble broke into the atmosphere, and soon the whiffs of white surrounded it, breaking now and then to show other colors below, blue, brown, and then green. Suddenly there was a violent jolt of hot, red, yellow, and then black smoke. "What happened?" our leader demanded to know. "I think they threw one of their weapons of destruction at us," the lanky gentleman said. "Why would they do that?" "Well, if they are like 10%ers, I would guess they did it out of fear stemming from lack of knowledge combined with an out-thrusting reflex common in the ignorant." But I thought we calmed them down." "Yes, but through humming, not an intelligence-based method." "May you be buried in a 10%er's grave," the large man, our maestro of hums, said to the lanky gentleman. Do not take injury over truth," our leader snapped. "It is unbecoming and smells of decay." There is also the fact, I thought I should offer, that the bubble is heading towards their leader with no indication of its intent. This is more defense than offense. "Very well." Defense than offense. Ah, our leader got it. "A right analysis." He turned to the controller and asked, "How is the bubble holding up?" "Very well, I perceive no problems," the controller said. After a few more colorful bursts of potential destruction, the view from the communications bubble began to detail the city, this Washington, D.C. The white of it was rather fascinating. White, heavy buildings that even we, just barely familiar with their culture, could see were monumental attempts at an attitude of solemnity. "We must be in the right place," the large-handed woman said. "Heavy blocks of stone piled into an imposing structure seems the image a leader would take." "Do I surround myself with heavy blocks of stone?" Our leader took umbrage. "No, OL, but then heavy blocks of stone are somewhat impractical on a life ship. Besides, I meant a leader of the thoroughly ignorant." "Oh, clarity, please, then clarity is a virtue." "We can see our destination now," the controller said. We looked. White again, and smaller than most of the other buildings, but it still possessed a 2 feet solidly planted pride that was charming in its way. Hundreds of little explosive pops were heard, and we could see many of the other life, all dressed uniformly, causing the explosions through portable weapons pointed at our bubble. "Why are they doing Oh, I'm sorry. It's a girl. Why are they doing this?" she, our assistant leader, asked. "If the substantially larger explosions they hurled at the bubble did no damage, how can they expect these little explosions to do any harm?" "A continuing defense reflex," the large-handed woman answered, "which is somewhat admirable if you think about it." "Then do not think about it," OL said, "for it is a wounding nuisance. Let me speak." He ordered the controller, who touched the switch, then nodded. "Your attacks are useless." I whispered. Yes, OL whispered back. "I would advise more calm in your voice. The verbal equivalent of the humming we sent would be just about right." The large man liked that and smiled. The others agreed. O.L. scowled, but acquiesced. Please understand that we do not have any intention to harm, O.L. said calmly as the bubble came up to what seemed to be the entrance of the building. We wish only to communicate with the President. A wall of the other life, dressed in uniformly heavy, dark materials, formed a barricade before the closed door. One of the uniformly dressed other life, uniform but with a flash of additional accessories, stared at the bubble and spoke, "You can speak English? Is that what you call this torture to my tongue?" O.L. said, as we all immediately did our best to give him his own famous look of admonishment, which caused him to grudgingly change his tack to a more calming one. Yes, we have been endeavoring to learn it. Excuse any mistakes I make. You are, I take it, from the spaceship that has invaded our skies. Invaded is a very harsh word, whispered O.L. It has belligerence behind it. We have not invaded. We have simply, O.L. looked to me for the proper word, parked. Parked? Yes, we have simply parked in your space. Why would that upset you? Are you the President? I am General Milliken. It is my duty to protect the President. Well, if you are not the President, then it is a waste of my time to speak to you. I will protect my President to the death. There's no need for profanity. I will just go in and find the President. Stop! The General Milliken shouted, suddenly bringing out his own portable weapon and making it shout out in its own way. Neither the detonations nor the decibels having any effect on O.L., he waved the controller in order to move the bubble forward, which he did, overcoming the obstacle of the closed door by simply slipping the bubble through the crack at the bottom. There was much shouting and many screams. The door opened behind the bubble, and the General Milliken, the loudest of the shouters, began to chase it, jumping up and down while on the run, swatting at the bubble with a long, shiny, quieter weapon. No firing in the White House! No firing in the White House! The General Milliken shouted as others, uniformly dressed in a different manner, joined in on the chasing and jumping and swatting. Can we find the President in all this din? O.L. asked the controller. Yes, I think so. He seems to be on a lower level. Yes, very much lower. He's underground. Accessible? Certainly. Well, let us go there then. Going there, though, was not as casually easy as the controller indicated. As we went lower, he found the construction increasingly designed to keep all manner of things out. It went from the imposing to the practical, from the ceremonial to the concrete. As there is no solidity in the universe, though, and unlimited molecular versatility in our bubbles, we were soon in a gray abode facing the other life individual who matched the President's voice pattern. Like his fellows, he was quite ugly. You are the President? Our leader addressed him, just as the General Milliken rushed into the gray abode. The President managed to verbalize before he collapsed into a heap. They've killed the President! The General Milliken shouted as another man rushed to the President and kneeled down beside him. The slimy alien bastards killed the President! He then popped a plethora of teeny hot projectiles from his small portable weapon at the bubble, doing harm only to the gray walls and one of his fellows who received one of the projectiles in his leg. General, stop it! Shouted the other man kneeling by the President. It didn't do anything. The President has had a stroke. A stroke? I think he was literally scared to death. What? God damn it to hell! I hate Democrats!